Welcome to the public information meeting for the Metra Woodstock Layover Yard Project. We would like to thank you for taking time to engage with us. This event aims to introduce you to the Woodstock Layover Yard Project, including its goals, objectives, and benefits, existing conditions, potential site alternatives, our site alternatives screening process, environmental considerations, and the project development process and next steps. We are seeking your input regarding our recommended site alternatives and environmental considerations. Specifically, how do you use the areas in and around the recommended site alternatives? What issues and considerations should we study further? Are there any specific environmental considerations we should be aware of? And what types of improvements are most important to you? After viewing this presentation, we hope you'll stay engaged and provide input as the project progresses. The Woodstock Layover Yard Project is a proposed rail yard relocation and expansion project to improve operational efficiency and maximize safety, security, and personnel time. The proposed project would consolidate operations across select existing yard locations to a larger cleaning and light maintenance facility near Woodstock, Illinois. The project would generate cost operational savings, bring new jobs to the area, and support anticipated growth in ridership. The overall goal of the Woodstock Layover Yard Project is to achieve more efficient operations and position Metra to support anticipated growth in ridership along the UP Northwest line by relocating from the existing capacity-constrained rail yards in McHenry County to a new modern rail yard with additional capacity. Beyond meeting current and future demand, the proposed Woodstock yard would allow Metra to achieve operational cost savings, create new job opportunities, support transit-oriented development at nearby stations, reduce train idling at existing stations and yards, and make public transit more convenient for all users. The UP Northwest line is the second busiest across the Metra system. At the same time, the capacity of the UP Northwest line is heavily constrained by the current infrastructure. With population increases of more than 60% anticipated in some communities along the line, additional trains and train storage are essential for Metra to meet the growing demand. The proposed Woodstock Layover Yard would add 7 storage tracks accommodating up to 14 trains and locomotives. This additional storage would allow for up to 21 additional trips to support future increased weekday service. The process of identifying a potential new rail yard location began with an analysis by our project team of 12 potential sites along the UP Northwest line, including an evaluation of expansion potential at existing yards. To arrive at an eventual preferred site that best meets the goals and objectives of the project, our team implemented a screening process and scoring criteria that evaluated each site on factors including current and future land use, available acreage, environmental considerations, and geographic locations best suited to meet future ridership growth. Our team assigned positive, neutral, or non-preferred rankings for each scoring criterion to each site under consideration. 10 of the initial 12 sites were eliminated because they were either outside of the target geographic location, did not provide enough land area to accommodate all the project components, or did not meet the goals and objectives of the project. None of the sites or design options screened in detail would result in a disparate impact on the basis of race, color, or national origin. 2 recommended site locations, each with 2 design options, emerged from our project team's screening process. These 2 sites near the city of Woodstock scored the highest positive rankings through the scoring matrix of the 12 sites reviewed and are recommended as those best able to meet the project goals and objectives and achieve benefits for the community. Environmental considerations are key to our project team's site evaluation criteria. For the remaining 2 reviewed sites, our team considered potential impacts to wetlands, wildlife, cultural resources, and community impacts, such as noise and light. Recommended site number 1 is just east of Lamb Road, near its intersection with the UP Northwest line. This site is currently agricultural, but is zoned for light and heavy manufacturing. A rail yard would be consistent with this zoning designation. Site number 1 offers adequate land area to accommodate the planned train storage, as well as planned and partially constructed roadway and utilities. The existing airway drive would be used to access the site. Also, the project could be developed with minimal impact on adjacent properties because the site is already subdivided. At the same time, recommended site number 1 could require the relocation of 4 existing outbuildings at the adjacent business, would impact agricultural land, require extensive off-site fill, potentially impact a stream on property and habitat, and require yard tracks to be constructed at a slight grade. Recommended site number 2 is west of Lamb Road along the UP Northwest line. A sizable portion of site number 2 is within Metra's existing right-of-way, but the project would still require some acquisition. This site is currently agricultural but is zoned for light industrial. It is also within a sensitive aquifer recharge area. Future land use at this site is office, research, and light industrial, and the existing wetland is identified as an environmentally sensitive use. A rail yard would not be consistent with future land use plans because of the environmentally sensitive designation. Site number 2 provides adequate land area for the planned train storage and would require less grading and off-site fill versus site number 1. However, a new access roadway would need to be constructed and utilities would need to be added at site number 2. There would be impacts to large wetlands on the property, potential habitat, and the sensitive aquifer recharge area. As the Woodstock Layover Yard Project progresses, the next steps include a National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA study, traffic analysis, and collecting your input to select and develop a preferred alternative. These next steps of the project, considered Phase 1, will continue through early to mid-2025. Once the NEPA study results are presented, feedback is gathered and addressed, and assuming that there is funding available, the project will move to Phase 2, which includes the final design and land acquisition. Phase 2 would begin in 2025. Finally, Phase 3, construction, would begin no earlier than 2028, pending funding availability. There are several ways to stay engaged, provide input, ask questions, and stay current on the Woodstock Layover Yard Project. You can fill out a comment form at tonight's meeting, check out our website, or reach out at the phone number, email address, or mailing address listed on the screen. We welcome comments and questions at any time during the project. However, we want you to know that comments received between March 21st and April 21st, 2024 will be included in the official public comment record associated with the March 21st Public Information Meeting. Thank you for viewing our presentation. We look forward to your input and hope you'll stay engaged with us as we work to enhance Metra service for all users, both now and in the future, with the development of the Woodstock Layover Yard Project.